So glad you're here. So this is part 3. But I just wanted to start with a quick little thing. This was my first real vacation in 18 years. The 16 years, a lot of you know that I own a lot of things, but one of them is a valet parking service. And that enslaved me, or I allowed it to enslave me. Now I run it differently. I'm really happy with how I'm running it now. Running it smaller, running it, more selectively, and that's awesome. But that didn't happen until we got to the lockdown for the pandemic. Once the lockdown happened, I had my first break in 16 years. So now the company's 18 years old, and I have found myself at, I've had pretty much 2 years of the time off to reflect, like a lot of people, and they considered that lockdown and that, the way things changed and stuff during the pandemic kind of a reset, or an opportunity to reset. But so then it's like, okay, life starts revving up again. Then what do? Do you allow yourself to get back on that hamster wheel again, or do you really bust a move and commit to what you said you were going to commit to in the first place? And a lot of people have, and for me, I have. And one of the things I fell into is this kind of ideology, I want to say, or a way of being, that I think the term is memento mori. And that kind of indicates something sort of negative if you think that life actually ends. But it does speak to an incarnation having an end point. And then what are you going to fill your life with before you get to that end point? Kind of like it's a train, and each car on the train is a chapter in your life, and how are you living it? And you get to decide how you want to live it. For a long time, I thought I was trapped in what I was doing, so much so that I was hardly doing what my real life purpose is. And so only now am I really doing that. Am I living in such a way that I have the balance? And it's about radical aliveness, which is the antidote to the ordinary, to the mundane, to the la-di-da, to the, another day, another dollar, another, the same old. If that's what you want, okay, cool, right on. But I don't. That's not what I want. I want to fully live my life now. And this means, for me, radical aliveness. I get that by way of things that are scary, things that take a little bit more bravery, stuff outside the comfort zone. What I think, if I think something, if I feel something, I express it. If I love you, I'm going to tell you. If I, now, I'm a four-wheeler, so I'm looking for a Jeep.
This is the last leg of our trip for today. The next stop is our campsite, about 8 miles from here.
Oh my God. It's time for part 3. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole thing, but I hope so. I'm going to really try to action pack it so that I can, there's a bunch of places that we went and things that we saw. Oh, I want to talk about so many things, but I want to show you the things that I haven't shown you yet, and that means they're going to be out of order. Sorry. And, okay. Oh, that includes 2 water crossings. Holy shit. I'm talking driving your vehicle through deep water. Now, normally when I've seen this on the news, people's cars drowned and whatnot and stuff and everything, and they say don't do that. But we went to this place, Frog Island. And it used to only be frogs, and you bring a frog and you contribute it to the display of frogs. And at the same place now, it has expanded, and you can now bring gnomes as well. And then there's this other mound, cars. We also went to this place. This used to actually be...
Yeah, I guess I'll get a picture of the old mailbox.
Postal service situation a moment. I forget what they said was the history on this, but it was an active postal place. Not now, though. Now, people put things inside that they think other people might need. You know, Band-Aid, stick of gum, you know, something of value that could help someone else. Interesting, odd, random things. And then there's a book. I didn't have anything to put in. I was going to, but I forgot. And, but I did sign the book. You sign the, sign and date, your name and I was here kind of thing. That was cool. So note to self, I gotta bring a porcelain or something frog, a cool frog to contribute. And I'd like to bring a gnome too. I think I bring a cool gnome and something to put in the box at the postal place, which to wrap up that confusion, you drive up that postal place with the flag. That's like a landmark to where Frog Island is, because after you look at the postal thing, then you walk further in, and that's when you start seeing all the little goodies. And then I need a rock. And I'm gonna customize a rock. You're about to see a rock that's yellow. You're wondering what the hell am I talking about? This thing has a plaque in the center. I'm gonna try to find that picture. And it says in 1847, at this place in 1847, nothing happened. Look at all those rocks. It started from a little teeny weeny mound, and people just contributed and contributed and contributed. And now the plate that was in the center of it, on top and whatnot, is now down within the center. Like Bruce went up and stood on top and took the picture looking down into it to get the photo of the plaque. We did a group shot by the pile of rocks. I mean, you want to see my posse? Watch. That's them. Oh, aren't they wonderful? I know. Let's move on. Now, last time, this is where we wrapped it up. That's sweat. That's not sexy. What the hell? I wasn't very proud of that moment. I mean, everybody was really gracious and everything, and it was good for my mom to see this, and for other people who were so terrified of me going camping. Oh my God, we'll talk about that later. But, yeah, this part, me meeting my physical endurance limit, maybe that's what people were worried about. I don't think so, though. That was I didn't expect that on a mile. I didn't expect that. So I had some thoughts on that when I recorded about this last night. I was the weakest link physically, and that's not okay. One little mile, a little incline for half of a freaking mile, some sand, and it wasn't like the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia or anything. You know what I mean? And temperatures in the 70s, really, and I couldn't. So, it took everything out of me, and I want to introduce you to Bryce. Brandon, Braden. It's a B name. Bryce. We're going to go with Bryce. Bryce is Donnie's brother. This is Bryce. Well, that was his vehicle anyway. Bryce is the one I talk to more than anybody else, I think. And he was the one in number 2 position after, this was my favorite driving position, when I was number 3 behind Bryce, who was behind Bruce. Oh, Bruce Bryce. Oh, that's cute. Sorry. So anyway, I was telling him at the end of this night, when I'd been tortured by that frickin' mountain, about how I had met my, I'd gotten to the limit of my physical endurance thing. It was that thing, like, the comparison being if I am dancing for a workout in my living room, I can stop when I'm exhausted. But when you're out there, or even at a gym, you stop when you're done, right? You can't take it anymore, stop, unless you got a trainer to push you. The mountain was like my trainer, and it was like, no, well, you need to get back to your car, right? So you're going to have to deal with going uphill, and doing this. So I was telling him, while it kicked my ass, it genuinely did. It took every single thing out of me. I wouldn't trade that moment for the world, for nothing. And what it's left me with is a commitment to make, my goal in my workout being to do that mountain again and let it be nothing when I meet that biatch again. Yeah, I will be able to do that and be like la-di-da. What? I concur. After the whole mountain attack thing, we went to another place. This is the lava tubes. There's a volcano. We're driving along, and I'm like, in fact, I remember I got on the CB, and I'm like, is that a volcano? Is it active? And it had been. And it spewed lava and whatnot everywhere. This is a chunk of obsidian, or it could be onyx. I think this is obsidian though, but they're both like the same-ish, made from lava, And so when you see how sharp this is, we're driving across a ton of lava rocks to get to this particular attraction. And I was so nervous with my little baby rented tires. But anyway, got to a safe place. And that's when you're going to see Bryce did this thing with his car. He had to do, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. He did so many wild acrobatic things while we were driving that I didn't catch. I'd be like, if he's in front of me, right, that's my favorite position, him being position number 2 behind Bruce, and then I'm 3. But so now, Bruce is gone, okay? And I'm trying to watch Bryce, and I'm watching the trail, but then Bryce goes and does some crazy stuff, and I just gotta, like, not follow him, because he's got the tires to go do this crazy stuff, and I need to really, really stay on the trail, Oh my God. So, what was I saying about Bryce? Oh, right. So he drove up on this rock, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool.
Well,
Look at how cool this is.
Clamp down and wants you to stay off.
This is on purpose. How fucking awesome is this? Oh my God. My friend said, yeah, there's a rock or something for you to climb. So he climbed it. Freaking awesome. A spring had sprung or something. The spring had come off of the thing. Dang it, I'm using the phone that would give me the answer because Bruce told me what it was. But so they had to put it back. And ultimately, Bruce karate kicked it. God.
Kick. Stop. Oh, I got it. Got it. Let's go back. Go back.
And it went right back where it was supposed to be. And then Bryce drove his vehicle off the rock.
That's it.
Oh, you mean this was for medicinal purposes? I thought he was just showing off that he could climb the rock. Got it. That was awesome. I was like, wow. But the reason I'm telling you this story is when we got there, you know, Donnie's like, don't you want to see the lava tubes? And I'm sure that they're really, really cool. And they don't make these attractions unless they're really worth seeing, you know? But I was completely 1000% spent from the mountain attack. And I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. And maybe I would have made it up to the lava thing and made it back down and stuff, but I didn't know what to expect, what kind of hike it was or whatever. And I knew that I was done. And some other things had gone on, TMI. I really just really needed to get to the campsite and create a shower situation and get the salt and whatnot off my body. Because I'd been sweating, and don't forget, I tinkled and I did not have toilet paper. I'm just being real with you right now. That happened. And I have troubleshot that too. So in one of my pockets, when I am camping, I will always have tissue. Always, 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 because you never ever know, never. So for months and months and months and months and months and months and months, I've been asking Bruce to please teach me how to make fire. Oops. How to make fire. See this? I bought a couple of these. This is a flint striker thing. I don't even know if I'm calling it the right friggin' fraggin' thing. But anyway, I want you to look at it, and I want you to notice that in like all these months and months and months and months and months that I've been like begging and begging and begging and begging and begging him to do this, we finally get in the situation where it's like perfect. But notice, it's perfectly unscathed. It has never been scraped. And this knot would come out in the first place. Okay, so you see this fire right here? When you see this fire, I'm about to show you a picture of fire. There's also some little kindling wood. But that wood, I want you to know, is like about the size of a ruler. But it's been cut really, it's been axed small to be part of starting a bigger fire. But okay, so the first night I was not in the mood to like start a fire. I'm like, that's like, you know, I had enough going on, making my like master bathroom and all that whatnot. The second night, I actually whipped out my 12 by 12 inch, 12 inch by 12 inch, pretty small little fire pit thing. And I was going to warm up some of my Beyond beef dish that I cooked previously, and I just, you know, because I wanted to keep it simple, so I was going to do a serving and then warm it up and on my little grill in the pan and whatnot, and eat it out in the wilderness, and it was going to be beautiful. It actually was, but first I needed to start the freaking fire. So I'm using these little pieces of wood that I had my handyman pre-axe into like small kindling pieces. Like I said, they're about the size of a ruler, so they're small, right? I'm thinking they're small, but I knew better than this. But and Bruce knew I knew better. But I don't know what if I was tired, if my brain had been jiggled too much from all the driving. I don't know what it was, but that's where I was going, and I just flicked my Bic, and I was trying to get the frickin' stick to light, and I couldn't get the son of a gun to do it. And he's just like, let's just watch her do this. He thought this was so funny, but so now I need to introduce you to one more person who couldn't take it. He could not take it anymore. And I knew better than this. And Bruce was like, think about all the shows you've watched. What do you need first? I mean, he was just being so logical. He wasn't really being mean. But I really was pitiful. It's like I drew a complete blank. And it's a shame because like when I was at his house, I'm like, look, all these pine needles gathered right here. Wouldn't that make a great little nest to start your starter fire thing? I was thinking about it like 2 days earlier. Like I said, my brain got all jiggled and everything from, you know, all that driving and whatnot. So, Bart, short for Bartholomew, come on, all right? And he has a one-syllable name anyway, so we need to bring this person in because I haven't mentioned him at all. Anyway, so here I am trying to light a damn fire. And Bart is like, look. So he goes and he grabs little twigs and stuff, breaks up some little miniature branches, you know, teeny weeny, and puts it in the center of my little pit thing, takes a bic, lights them, now starts getting bigger sticks, and then gets the little sticks that I've had made already after these are already lit, and makes a bigger and bigger little thing, and now I have the fire. And I was all like, I remember that. I was just, you know, checking, make sure y'all, if you could handle a smaller fire pit, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to, that's all. Yeah. So that was that. By the time we get to the third night, and I have been beaten up by a mountain, I want you to know I could barely walk. By the time we got to the campsite, first I'm driving back and forth past everybody's cars. I'm trying to figure out where am I going to put myself because I got to do this shower thing. So I put myself down a ways away from everybody. It's not sunset yet, so I'm okay with that. But I know in the back of my head, I'm like, this is not the spot for me to be overnight. So I guess I did feel a little bit something, but we're getting up onto the point where I want to tell you what I did to protect myself and my fellow campers during this 5-day, 4-day thing. So but I got my car in a place, so it was kind of like parallel to the mountain. And then I had that tarp, and I opened a door, and I put the tarp over a door, and it kind of was stiff enough that it extended out another foot or so, and was still presented or presented a visible shield, so you could not see past. So that gave me some room to move around. I think I forgot to mention that I had a plastic floor mat that I was using to step on so that I wouldn't have to be on wet dirt while I took my shower. Then instead of using that shower solar heated thing, because I didn't know that I was going to even do that this evening, but I didn't like it. I don't think I need to try another brand or something. I used the water jerry can thing that Bruce convinced me to get. He's like, no, you need to get this, and you can use it as like a faucet. Because you just turn it on and now the water's coming out after you've poured, you know, a gallon or two in. So I had a couple gallons in there. I put it on top of the Jeep. And so now the water is coming down, and it was a little bit not too perfect, but at least it was constant water coming, and I could do what I needed to do, which was awesome. But I wanted to tell you my body was done. Was completely, it was like I really wanted to go to sleep. I wanted to just get in the back of my Jeep and just like say goodnight, everybody. Thanks so much. It was a great day. But I knew that wasn't the thing to do. And I had too much wood in my Jeep, and come to find out, to my surprise, I didn't know. I thought it was going to be 4 nights and 5 days. And in my head, at that point, I figured I'd recover from the, you know, being beat up by a mountain. And I felt like I could go for a full week, you know what I mean? But I definitely wanted that 4th night and 5th day. And I found out that night that that was the last night. I'm like, you're kidding. Well, let's not conserve wood. Let's get all this wood out of my car. And it was so much wood. They're like, why did you buy so much wood? We're not even going to go there. But I was told I would be the queen of wood if I went ahead and just brought all this wood. So I hope I was that, y'all. That's all I wanted. So then that was fun. It became this thing of, you know, it was like we had the best fire that night. We had huge fire for hours that night. And I didn't want them, they wanted to kind of like do it all at once. Maybe they were tired or whatever, but I got addicted to the fire. I got addicted to the meditative quality of the fire. And then there was this moment.
You're about to see something.
Come on, everything, come on!
Well, if we're looking for the grand finale,
Yeah,
Yeah, you can do with the plastic.
this is like the last fireworks kind of thing.
I get the shit.
All the kindling,
Okay, all the kindling's going in.
all of it, in 3, 2, 1.
Nice pour though.
Yeah, way good pour, way good pour.
Laid out like that.
Okay, it's growing.
She paid. We gotta help her.
Really?
Whoa, it's gonna be big fire now because the wood is
It's a lot of surface.
a lot of surface to massage. Me and I.
Good fire.
Wow. Is that the biggest ever?
Well, you could burn a witch in that fire.
Okay, I'll leave the room now.
Just trying to throw a little holiday spirit into it.
The she witch.
You keep on laughing about throwing witches in the fire, okay? Keep that up. That doesn't sound or feel to you half of what it sounds and feels like to me right here. Oh, I shouldn't do that in public. Seriously. It's a singing bowl. You want to see it? This one is a G note, and it's the throat chakra. And yeah, it's awesome. I brought with me on the trip the root chakra, and that'll be the red one you're going to see here, as well as the heart chakra, which is green. You're going to see that. I wanted to experience the vibration of the bowls inside the Jeep. They need a ceiling and walls and stuff, and the sound bounces off, comes back into your body, and it's a healing modality. It's a therapy, and I wanted that, and I use it for meditation, and I've been doing it for years. And so when I hear a singing bowl, I tend to shut up and breathe. And so it's very difficult for me to talk and play a bowl at the same time. But I wanted to share that I did that. I did that a couple of mornings in my Jeep. Prior to getting to the camping trip, prior to even making it happen, I found out on the 6th that this was going to happen. And so now I'm like, oh my God, what do I need? What do I need to learn? What do I need to do? What do I need to get? I needed a Jeep. So I immediately started searching for a Jeep, and that was difficult because we had a Jeep shortage. We had a chip shortage. We have a car shortage. We have a rent-a-vehicle shortage. We have a shortage. So I was letting that actually affect what at the time was like a failure. I could not. Day after day after day, I kept trying to reserve a Jeep somewhere, anywhere, and couldn't. But what was happening simultaneously was me playing into other people's fear, fright, like gut-wrenching, oh my godness, about me going camping. Really? People thought I was not coming back from this, or they thought that I was going to go through some terrible thing, and it had nothing to do with, the nature's apex predators, mountain lions, rattlesnakes, scorpions or anything like that. No, it's about the two-legged predators that they worried about. Who are you going with? Well, do you know these people? Not trusting my judgment, really, first of all, which, really? That's okay. It's all right. So I let that play in for a minute, and it was kind of freaking me out for a minute. But I was still moving forward, and I was trying to find my Jeep and whatnot, and I was unable to do it. And I'm like, wait a minute. And, okay, yeah, it is a new day. And yeah, it is kind of crazy out in the world, and yeah, there won't be a signal, and there's no, police department nearby in case you need that kind of help or anything. It is a different kind of life out in the wild and stuff, but I had to get logical. And most of what I have to say about that was really an introduction for me into the lifestyle, the mentality of those who do the wilderness. Actually, very nice, wonderful people, but there's still another issue, and I get it. And I'm going to talk about that mostly in another piece, because I decided that I want to honor what was awesome and wonderful about this trip. My specialty as a metaphysician, as a spiritual advisor, is conscious creation and metaphysics. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Let me just fix this right quick. So, thanks to spirit and the ability to create more of what we want and less of what we don't, I consciously did a treatment on the desert. You see this map right here? Okay. I took that area and I put 4 huge, massive pillars of light around, like in 4 corners, and then 1 massive one in the center. Each pillar is about 10 miles in radius. So this was a ginormous display and working of energy, light energy, purifying, creative, clearing, charging energy. I did a favor for the entire freaking desert. It was focused on my group of people so that we would have an amazing incident-free experience. But it was also configured so that anybody else who was in the Mojave during that time period would also experience this wonderfulness. If they had negative intentions, for some odd, strange reason, they just wouldn't be about pulling that off during this time period. Okay, so I do this treatment, and now the next step becomes either the law of attraction, conscious creation is real or it isn't. It really is a gift from the creator or it is not. I am one of those who believes it is 100%, period, end of subject. And so it is. And so it was. And we had a blast. And I love how even going out of the desert on the last day, it wasn't boring. We kept stopping and doing cool things. And we turned this one corner and holy shit, it's a body of water. And I did not have time to grab my camera. I was just like, oh my God. I grabbed the CB. I'm like, does anybody want to tell Gillian just didn't want to say anything to me about going through this? So 2 people tell me, just go straight across. Steady pace. Just go straight across. So I did that. The first body of water was deeper than the second body of water, but second body of water came. I was shocked. I didn't know we were going to do it twice. I didn't know it was going to happen that day. I love that nobody said anything to me about, oh, that happens on the 4th day. Nobody said. So it was just such a cool freaking surprise. And when we came out of the first one, we turn and we go up the steep hill. And I was just like, I get on the radio. I'm like, oh my God, I just did that shit. I was so exhilarated. Holy shit. Anyway, here we go. Here's the second one. I see it coming and I hit the camera. This is my second water crossing. Holy shit, I'm actually doing this. That was badass, without question. So on the last day, I didn't know, like I said in the beginning, I was just along for the ride. I was along for the ride, and I didn't care about agendas each day. I was like, okay, we're ready to go. Okay, we're ready to go. So things would happen and turn the corner, body of water. We get to a place where we stop and have lunch under the train tracks. But I want you to know that, because I'm going to end it there, but after that, we're driving. And even as we're driving to get to the place by the highway where, they're going to put air back in their tires and, we're going to separate from there and go our separate ways. There's just so much to see. My camera was going crazy. I was going crazy with my camera. I mean, I just couldn't capture enough. But prior to that, we were under some train tracks. And this is like a landmark spot. And I loved that a train came by. I couldn't help but think about that train being symbolic of a life, one life. And look at how many opportunities we have to fill our time with joy.